Welcome to the Community Fund, where we build profitable, prosperous communities. What would the world look like if we lived in an independent democratic market economy? The challenges we face as a society are growing as we watch the deterioration of our current system and institutions. But we do have a solution to stabilize, build, and grow our communities to our mutual benefit. Through building for-profit communities, we can transform our nation into a prosperous one. The more healthy, self-sustaining, profitable communities there are, the less intervention by governments in the economy is necessary to keep communities functioning at a healthy economic level. When each community adopts independent democratic market economies, they could not only support themselves, they would also have a much stronger say in the decisions of publicly traded companies and corporations. We'd see a complete revamp of our economic system that can support all citizens. All it would take is the organization of communities to collectively take advantage of systems that already exist. The good news is that it looks a lot like what we already do. We spend our money where we want and need to, but a portion of the businesses we shop with are franchises owned by the local community. That means the money from your spending generates a profit for your community, which is then used to develop the community or returned to the members as a dividend. When a community owns a franchise, consumers get to keep buying the products they love, knowing that their spending is coming back to them in a way that helps everyone and builds a more robust, stable community. We can expand the power of our communities through economic democracy. A portion of the profit generated by communities is used to buy shares in publicly traded companies. The independent communities continually increase their corporate ownership through buying more stocks in corporations with the profits from operating franchises and the dividends received from their corporate shares. When communities independently own shares in a company, they get a seat at the table and obtain voting rights in the corporations they are invested in. Communities will now have a voice in the corporate boardroom and influence the direction of corporate governance by electing members of the board and CEOs. The more independent communities own stocks, the more power their votes will have, until publicly traded companies finally start representing the public interest and economic democracy is achieved. As community stock portfolios grow and diversify, the communities impacted by large corporations will become the decision makers of that company through electing board members. When everyday people in communities have a say in how corporations function, we'll have achieved an independent, decentralized economic democracy. That means the pricing, policies, manufacturing, and business practices used by some of the biggest companies in the world would be directly impacted by decisions made by independent communities. Companies like Amazon, Tim Hortons, Tesla, Walmart, and P&G would start to reflect the needs, interests, and values of their customers, not just as a reaction to purchasing trends, but in an intentional way, with the profits of these companies funding development of the very communities that vote for the board members that make decisions. There are a lot of benefits to communities owning stocks in big businesses. When communities get a vote on everything from business leadership to manufacturing practices to resource allocation, they can directly impact the value of goods, the way companies operate, and how profits are spent. With transparency of processes, costs, and profit margins, communities can influence prices of goods to more accurately reflect their value, resulting in individual savings. Whatever profit that company then makes in dividend can be conscientiously returned to the communities for reinvestment and community development, creating a balance between profit, price, dividends, and savings. By harnessing corporate profits to support community development, a new solution is offered. When the network of decentralized independent community funds own entire corporations, we create a system that reinvests in itself. Communities can then harness corporate profits to build sustainable infrastructure in communities debt-free with the financial stability for continual reinvestment in community growth. One of the first large-scale community developments should be the creation of processes that separate business operations from the impacts of inflation. If a community's franchise and stock portfolio includes businesses that require fresh produce and vegetables, we can use corporate profits to build local vertical farms that supply those ingredients. This creates local jobs and consistently supplies produce to support those franchises at a consistent price and removes the fluctuating cost of transportation and the impact of external inflation. In our system, community profits are also used to solve the problem of housing affordability. By building and providing affordable housing for those who work in community franchises, community-owned businesses, and for members of the community, to reduce the cost of living long-term and create a sustainable, affordable system that supports communities and its citizens. Affordable, quality housing for workers stabilizes labor costs to keep franchise operational costs low, which is passed on to consumer with more affordable prices. Using community funds to build infrastructure, such as vertical farms, that supports community-owned franchises, creates local solutions that can insulate costs from the impact of inflation through the combination of local production and affordable housing and labor. By providing locally and cost-effectively the resources franchises need to function, we can reduce and stabilize costs, creating an ecosystem of reliable local production, affordable housing, labor, food, and prices. By lending to ourselves, we can supercharge the profits and building of communities through community banking. Community banks work differently because they aren't designed to make money for anyone but the communities they serve. When individuals get loans from a community bank, that money is invested right back into the community and its development. By keeping community profits and investments local, we can ensure that all funds go toward the betterment of the community and its citizens. Community profits can be spent on programs that support healthy eating, skill development, physical and mental health, and programs that allow people to give back. The people running these programs are paid, and the community members benefiting from these programs gain skills they can use to increase their wages, improve their quality of life, and exchange value with the community to the mutual benefit of all. Once this system is stable within a community, we can open actionable discussions around universal income and children's opportunity funds, which would use the community income to build savings accounts for every child born in the community. Those savings accounts could, upon graduation from high school, be used to pay for continuing education and training, starting new business ventures, or following a passion that might otherwise have been out of reach. Financial transparency and open ledger accounting are crucial to a free and open society. When we know the true costs of things and how our money is being spent, we can make important decisions about value, business practices, moral and ethical manufacturing, supply chains and distribution, and the future direction of the companies we depend on to support long-term sustainable business practices, revenue, and growth in communities. Financial transparency and open ledger accounting are the cornerstone and foundation of accountability that profitable community business is built on. Democracy works, and it's time that we brought it into our economy. When we build decentralized, independent, profitable communities, we build a healthier and more resilient nation, and we don't have to rebuild the road to get there. There are systems in place that we can take advantage of to turn that one-way flow of money exiting our communities into money flowing back into our communities. Community spending generates community profit, providing the funds to build and regenerate our communities and local economies. We can capture the everyday spending in our communities to continually generate profit and cash flow for our local community. When we build a healthy, independent community, we're no longer relying on outside investors or at the mercy of speculators to decide how much money we should pay for housing, food, or banking. Each individual has a say in how their money is spent, both by companies and by the community. And when we solve this, the natural spending in the economy generates an abundance and profit that builds upon itself. When the money we spend is redistributed to the community through systems that support affordable housing, food security, community program development, infrastructure development, and personal improvement and contribution, we are creating communities that will guarantee future generations benefit from our decisions. We can begin this movement today and start organizing individual communities to take advantage of existing systems and create profitable, decentralized, independent community funds. By investing in our communities, we are investing in our future. Let's build an independent, decentralized market economy with profitable, prosperous communities that serve, support, and profit you. Become a supporter of the Community Fund at our website, CommunityFund.ca, to start building strong, independent, prosperous communities today.